And Zelensky links Ukraine polls to war. Ukrainian president says elections only if war ends. Donald Trump quips, says no election is good for Zelensky. Martial law in Ukraine, polls suspended. Is Zelensky using power to stay on in power is the question that is being asked. So Zelensky has said that Ukraine polls can only be held if the circumstances are safe, and Ukrainian president has said that elections will only be held if war ends, to which Donald Trump said that no election is good for Zelensky. Remember, martial law is in place in Ukraine and the polls have been suspended. Zelensky's term has already ended in October 2024.
Are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances, and a little bit we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, and the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now, so you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake
You like this idea?
Yeah.
Today, Global's Pranay Upadhyay is now joining us. Pranay, Zelensky said that elections can only be held under safe circumstances, and elections have not been held because of the war. So does that mean that Zelensky is using the war to stay on in power? All right, we'll try to re-establish that connection with Pranay, but Michael Kugelman continues to stay with us. Michael, your view on this. Zelensky saying that because of the war, the elections were not held in Ukraine because safe circumstances are required to hold elections. Do you think Zelensky is using war to stay on in power?
Well, I mean, let's remember that before the war began, Zelensky was not terribly popular. I do think that his popularity has increased with the war, but it's really hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't necessarily think that what he said today should be taken at face value. Understandably so, for Zelensky and his government. I mean, the ultimate goal is getting the war to end, and the elections would presumably play second fiddle to that. But Ukraine is a democracy, and you expect that you would want elections to happen as soon as possible. But clearly, for now, the focus of the Ukraine government is to look into the possibilities for a peace process. That'll have to be the priority goal now, especially because for the first time in the several years that this war has happened, there actually is momentum toward getting to a point where the two sides would stop fighting, which is frankly is surprising to many observers, including myself.
Right, Michael. Also, a very surprising reaction by NATO advisor, who has said that for Donald Trump, ending the Russia-Ukraine war is not just about saving lives, it's also about getting global recognition and attention. How do you see this statement?
I mean, it might be surprising because the statement was made, but I don't think that the comment itself is surprising. I mean, as I said earlier, this has been one of Trump's top foreign priorities since coming back to the presidency, is to end this war. And we know that he styles himself as the ultimate peacemaker, the ultimate peace broker, the ultimate deal maker. And yes, he would love to get that attention as the leader that helped set in motion a peace process. He would very much like to receive a Nobel Peace Prize for these efforts. And it's the same thing with the other big war raging, the war in Gaza. He wants to try to end that. I mean, he has not succeeded. He's made much less progress there. So now he's turned his full attention to Ukraine. But I think that comment you cited seems to just be reflecting something that's accurate. Might not be the most diplomatic comment, but I think it's very clear that President Trump, yes, I mean, he wants the war to end. He wants the fighting to stop. He wants there to be peace, but he would very much like to get the attention and credit that would go with a leader who is able to broker a peace process that ends this terrible war.
Absolutely, Michael. It might not be the most diplomatic statement that one can make at this point of time. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast on India Today.